Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing your daily Walking Dead video for today. This one we're going to give our thoughts on the titles for episodes 14, 15, and 16, finishing up the season for The Walking Dead Season 7. And I'll put the link in the description so you guys can check these out from the Wikia for The Walking Dead Season 7. This one was sent through from Aidan Last, so thanks Aidan for sending through the suggestion. Want to hear my thoughts on the titles. Then after that, we'll get into some of our Q&A questions for today. So episode 14 is called Strong Threats. We've read the description before. I've done a video on the descriptions for episodes 14 and 15, but we'll just briefly go over them again. The Saviors visit the Hilltop unexpectedly, surprising everyone. So strong threats. Now, with that one, I would most likely say, and people have mentioned this in the prior Q&As too, that the Saviors are probably going there to try to get to the other Dr. Carson because they would like to have, their resident doctor, and if one of the other communities under them has one, they'll probably just go and pluck him out and, pop him into being doctor at the sanctuary. So that's most likely, I think, is a really good prediction. Makes a lot of sense for why episode 14 they'll be going to the Hilltop. Of course, it should be exciting to see whether or not they're going to see Maggie there, if they're going to recognize her and know she's from Alexandria, how the doctor's going to react, because of course the doctor has to care for Andrea with her being at the Hilltop. Because of her being pregnant, of course. So how's he going to get out of that? Or is he going to mention it? Or is he not going to? We'll have to see what happens with the doctor and how that all goes down in episode 14. If they're able to get the doctor, that's going to be an advantage for when All Out War starts. When Rick and the others start to attack and the war begins, you're going to need your doctor right away after the very first battle. If it's not a definitive battle, you're going to need your doctor. If someone gets injured, someone gets shot, someone gets cut, someone gets hurt, you're going to want to have them checked, right? Obviously. So we'll see if the group can figure out a way to keep them from taking the other Dr. Carson, but because it is unexpectedly surprising to everyone, as the description says, sounds like they'll probably get him because the group wouldn't know, Rick and the others wouldn't know to move the doctor first, of course, prior. So it sounds like the Saviors will probably get him. Strong threats, I'm thinking Negan would probably send Simon, although it would be cool to see Negan go to the Hilltop because we haven't really seen him visit the Hilltop as of yet. So that's episode 14. Episode 15 is called Here We Are. So here we are. A group of Alexandrians embark on a journey. One member of the group must make a heartbreaking decision. So, embark on a journey. This one, we've speculated is probably around this time. We'll most likely see Rick and the others approach the ocean side, I would think, because if All Out War is going to be starting in the finale or in Season 8's premiere, which is the big episode 100, which should be a really big episode, 100th episode of the Walking Dead TV series. So there should be some big stuff happening there. And of course, with finales, you want to have something pretty big happen to keep people amped so that as they come back after the wait in the summer, they have something to come back to. They're not just ending off a season and then whatever, and then it starts back up again. You want to have something. Hopefully no huge cliffhangers this year, but we want to have something to get us started with the war, I think, is necessary. Maybe a small skirmish or small battle at the least. I feel like it's necessary. Maybe a cool Negan speech. That'll be sweet too. Looking forward to that. So hopefully that's what we'll see. So here we are. Not much to read in that title. It's just like, where are you? Here we are, wherever we are, this kind of thing. Thinking Oceanside. Episode 16 is called Do It Now. So this is pretty cool. I'm thinking when I hear that, Do It Now is like a timing, like a trigger, like a trap is set or something. So maybe they'll try to go after Negan in this one and see if they can get him. Maybe it's some kind of ploy. Negan comes to visit Alexandria or something, and they kind of spring a trap on him, and then he's able to kind of escape or something for the big finale, and then he gives a speech on going to war. So that's my predictions. That's what I'm kind of thinking from the script or the episode names. Do It Now kind of reminds me of the Season 6 trailer, Rick says, we're doing this now. We're doing this now, right? So that kind of makes me think of the title, Do It Now. It's like, we're doing this now. Some people think maybe they might name the Season 8 premiere Something to Fear, because we still haven't seen, an episode named Something to Fear. And I like the prediction that maybe it could be Something to Fear referring to Rick as he's gotten everybody together and he's ready to go after Negan, rather than in the comics in issue 100 when he kills Glenn in the comics. It's called Something to Fear because we first get introduced to Negan and we get an idea of what he's about as he's killing Glenn. So thanks to Aidan for that. Very cool stuff. I like the titles, and you guys can write your comments below on what you think they mean. Really excited for episode 16. The season finale should be great. ShadFitness says, Q&A Trev, love your channel and your content. Huge supporter. Have 2 questions. Do you think Negan or Simon will find out Maggie is alive when he heads to the Hilltop to get the other Dr. Carson? So, are they actually going to figure out that that's Maggie from Alexandria? I'd say probably not, because if they were able to figure that out, that would be huge leverage against Rick and the others. If they captured Maggie and they brought her to the sanctuary, if Rick and the others attacked and they had Maggie there and like a gun to her head or something and told Rick to surrender, that could be quite a bit of leverage if they were able to get Maggie. So I'm going to say that I don't think Negan's going to show up to the Hilltop himself. I think he'll probably send Simon. And Simon doesn't know Maggie. He doesn't know where she's from. I don't think he saw her with the others. No, he didn't. So he doesn't know that. And, Negan doesn't really tell Simon everything either. So, it's one of those. So I don't think that they will recognize Maggie and they will bring her back. No, I don't think so. But she's going to be without her doctor, probably, yeah. Walking Med says, after watching episode 11, I think it's safe to say that in episode 14, because of the synopsis, the Saviors will take Dr. Carson from the Hilltop. So probably Walking Med, yeah, I think you're right. Master of Nuns says, hey Trev, now that the show is on and the comics are still going strong, do you read the comics using your imagination with the TV characters as the comic characters, or does your original thought, what you saw of the original illustration, take over? Like, are you reading Andrew Lincoln as Rick or not? Like, what voice do you hear when you're reading the comics? So, and which version takes over definitive impact, as a viewer or a reader? For me, when I think back, Walking Dead, like I think back to season 3 or season 4, or what happens here, what happens there. The TV series is kind of overwritten my memory of the sequence of events that the characters go through when they're surviving in the zombie apocalypse. So the order in which the TV series remixed and changed things has kind of taken precedent over the original comic series, which is weird because I reviewed, and did, I read and reviewed, did videos on the comic book series far before the TV series even started, and continued that process all the way through. So it's weird to me, and I've read the comic book series many times over. I can still separate the two and like realize, but every once in a while I kind of get like a little bit fuzzy logic between TV series and comics and which one's which. But yeah, I would say that Andrew Lincoln has pretty much taken over as the definitive Rick. Even the comic book series version of Rick is cool. In some ways he's more badass than Andrew Lincoln's version. In other ways maybe not so much, depending. Depends on the season, depends on what story arc you're looking at. But I feel like the TV series version has really been so impressive that it's kind of overdone the way I think of the comic version. Yeah, it's kind of like the number one, one. It's kind of like if you're reading a Batman comic and you hear the Joker say something, the voice in your head is always Mark Hamill, his Batman animated series Joker voice. At least for me it is. So it's kind of like that with the TV series. Yeah, I hear Andrew Lincoln when I read Rick, kind of. Yeah, that's true. Good question from Master of John. Thanks, brother. Walking Man also said, if the Saviors take Dr. Carson, how will Maggie have her baby? Do you think she may go to the kingdom? Or, although it may sound stupid, do you think they may make a deal with the Saviors for her to go to the sanctuary to get help from night? Okay, well, she's not going to make a deal, bro. That's not going to happen. Also, even if they try to make a deal, there's no way Rick would trust Negan to go through with that. It's not going to happen. No way. However, we do have someone at the kingdom, like you mentioned, that has delivered a baby before and has done a C-section, even though the person she did it to didn't quite survive. Carol's there. Carol practiced C-section, that kind of stuff. So, and they may have some other people there at the Kingdom as well too that could help with that. So we'll have to see what happens. But I think Maggie will be all right, and I think the baby will be fine. I wouldn't worry too much about it. But I do think that they will take Dr. Carson, the brother of the other Dr. Carson that was killed, of course. Yeah. And then, do you think Eugene will do something badass against Alexandria and other communities to officially betray the group? Or maybe Jesus might hear him on the radio thing without Eugene knowing. That would be really crazy if Eugene did something that was really kind of clever to use against our survivors as a savior, betray the group in that way. I don't think Eugene will do it. I'm kind of going that way right now. I don't think he's 100%. Everybody's different on this. I've seen comments saying Eugene's totally drinking the Savior Kool-Aid. He's totally 100% with Negan right now. I feel like, no, I think he's mostly with him. He does what he has to do to play both sides, to win for himself, of course, and take care of himself, and be selfish, and that's why he lies and does the things that he does. But at the same time, I don't think he will do something that drastic to harm our Alexandrians. I think he still would feel more loyal to that group than he would to the Saviors for sure. So, but we'll see. And I think he will be put in the situation, and I think he might actually end up backstabbing Negan and not the Saviors. Negan and not the survivors. So he betrayed the Saviors. Ben Asadi says, every time there's a bad episode of The Walking Dead, all fanboys defend it by screaming character development. And anyone who dislikes the episodes is automatically labeled a hater or an action junkie. That's true. They call me the action junkie, right? So it's true. Which in some ways I kind of am. You know, I like action a lot too, but I like a good mix, but I like my meter being, okay, if this is character development and drama here, and this is action, I like my meter to be right there. So it's a little bit past half towards the action side. It can't be too far that way. It was a movie, Battlefield Los Angeles, some alien movie. It was the whole thing was action all the way through. It was terrible because he had no character development. So in terms of the meter, you know, I like mine to be about right there. Some of you guys might like yours to be right dead in the middle. Some of you guys may like drama more than action or comedy or other things. So you put yours there. Some people love drama. Some people love action. So it depends. Everyone's got their own taste. That's where I fall myself, Ben. So fun stuff. We'll do a couple more. Dennis Whalen says, maybe Dwight framed the doctor because he thought Negan wouldn't kill him because he's the only doctor at the sanctuary. What are your thoughts, Trev? So did Negan or did Dwight think that Negan was going to throw him in the furnace? No, he probably didn't. He probably thought he was just at most going to burn his face, and he didn't do that. So, yeah, but he still set up the doctor to get it instead of him. That's tough to say. He probably would have thought that, but still it's kind of evil. Like you can't say, I'm going to justify it because he would have thought he'd just burn half his face off. It's like he knows how painful that is, and that doesn't make it better that he threw him under the bus and he did that to him. That doesn't make it okay just because he might have thought that Negan wouldn't kill him. That doesn't make it better. No, I mean, to save his ass, I guess so. But it's kind of like, why did you just not come back until you found Sherry? You know, why don't you just stay out there and look for as long as you have to until you find her? And then if you want to bring the beer and the pretzels or whatever, then when you do find her, leave with her. Get out of there. You know, go 500 miles in some other direction in the zombie apocalypse, and you're gone. You know, that's it. Just like Rick and the group, they traveled, you know. Do something like that, you know. Go see what's left of Woodbury or something, what's not burnt down. Go figure out what you're going to do. Go somewhere. I don't care where. Just go somewhere and find some food, whatever. Last one will be from Jesus Burrell, who says, Trev, Negan surely must know that Dwight was lying about the doctor. So Dwight lying about the doctor. If he knew... Okay, if Negan thought that Dwight was lying, he wouldn't throw the doctor in the fire. Probably not. I don't think. I think he would, but then he has to save face in front of everybody. So if he wasn't sure, I almost want to say maybe he wouldn't have. Maybe he wouldn't have called the meeting and done all that kind of stuff and everything. But he got the doctor to admit that he had done it. And like he said, if you tell me the truth or whatever, I won't burn your face, right? And he didn't use the iron on his face. He didn't give him the iron. But when he said it was true and that he did, and he admitted to it, even though our interpretation is he didn't actually do that. He he was lying because he didn't want to have his face burned off, the doctor, right? So I don't think Negan does know that Dwight was lying. I think Negan trusts Dwight, even though he can't really, but he does, and in that way he's a little bit too trusting, and he's actually wrong in this case. So that'll be it for today's Q&A, guys. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. I got a Fear video lined up for you guys later today about Season 3 of Fear. We got some promo pictures and some descriptions and stuff, so we're going to go into that. So that's real cool. So check back for that in about an hour or two. If you guys like this video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. If you're new and you want to subscribe, click that sub button, bottom left. Click the notifications to turn them on. That's it for this video, guys. See you again for Fear. It's Trav saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.